Laravel for Beginners. In this course, we're going to build web application from scratch by using Laravel framework. This course is primarily intended for complete beginners, and basic knowledge of PHP programming language is strongly recommended before taking this course. I will be using PHP Storm as an IDE for this project. And of course, before we start, we have to prepare an environment in order to launch Laravel applications. There is such development environment called Laravel Herd, which already includes all the things necessary in order to run Laravel applications. So we don't have to separately install PHP interpreter, web server, and other tools to run Laravel applications. Laravel Herd also has version for Windows. It comes with graphical installer, so we just have to download it and run this installer. And right after Laravel Herd will be installed, let's run it, and there will be additional icon in the menu bar. From here we can manage Laravel Herd services. Currently they are all running. We can also stop all of them at once and restart. There is also an option to choose specific version of PHP. In this course I will be using PHP 8.3. But in case those PHP versions are not installed on your machine, we can go to Settings, here switch over to the second tab called PHP, and from here we can install all these available versions. And the same we can do with Node.js interpreter. Also, after installing Laravel Herd, there is utility available in command line called Laravel. We will use this utility to install fresh Laravel application. So let's run Laravel new and then specify a folder name for the new project. I will name the project Laravel Watch. And then we are presented with a couple of additional questions. The first one suggests us to use available starter kit, and that means that newly installed Laravel application will already contain some basic functionality such as registration or authentication. But since we're going to learn Laravel from scratch, we will not be using any existing solutions. Instead, we will build our own, so I will choose no starter kit. Then we have to choose testing framework we'd like to use. In this case, it does not matter, since we're not going to write tests in this course. The next question will be about Git, whether we wanna initialize an empty Git repository. I will answer yes. The next question will be about database, which database we'd like to use. I will choose MySQL. And finally, it asks us whether we wanna run default Laravel migrations. For now, I will answer no, because later on we will run these migrations manually. We firstly have to establish database connection to do so. And after the installation process is complete, let's open up new folder with Laravel application and open this folder in the editor. And by the way, for anyone who's interested in learning more about development environment Laravel Herd, there is a separate playlist on the channel called Laravel Herd PHP Development Environment. Now that we have a new project installed, we need to access this project from within the browser. Usually when using Laravel Herd, projects are available in the browser by the following domains that correspond to the folder name with the project and appended.test part, like so. But as you can see, it is not the case, and when I try to open up this address, I get this 404 error. So we have to provide an access to our newly installed Laravel application. We can do so by using Herd utility, which was also installed with Laravel Herd. And to link current project so it becomes available in the browser, we can run herd link. And after refreshing the page in the browser, we're getting different error. This one is related to database connection because currently there is no database server running. And in order to run database server locally, I'm going to use application called DB Engine. This application is available on Mac as well as on Windows. So let's download, install and run this application. And then we can create new database server. Here we can choose database server. I'm going to use MySQL. Then we have to provide connection name. It can be any name. And all other fields we can leave empty. So let's press create. And this way we have just created configuration to run database server, but we haven't run it yet. And to run database server, we have to press this start button. Also, to simplify database management and viewing the data in the database, I'm going to use graphical client called Table Plus. This application is also available for different operating systems. Right after we install this application, let's create new connection. I will choose MySQL. In here we can give any name to this connection. I will use project name. And also we have to specify the username that we will use to connect to database. The default user is called root. And all other fields can remain empty. Let's test this connection. And if those fields are highlighted in green, that means the connection was established successfully. So I'm gonna save this connection and then open it up. And here we can see a list of all databases that currently exist on this database server. So we're going to create new database for our project. But before this, it is very important to properly configure connection in our application to the database. And we are doing so by specifying proper values for environment variables inside .env file. Here we have a list of all environment variables used to connect to database. And default values for almost all variables will work in our case. We just have to change database name. I will use Laravel-watch. Now we need to create database with the same name. Let's press New, assign the same name and press OK. And if we'll open up this database, of course it will be empty and there will be no tables yet. And by the way, these two applications, DB Engine, which allows us to quickly run database servers, as well as graphical client Table Plus to connect to databases, they're both developed by the same company, so we can quickly open up Table Plus by using this arrow icon from within DB Engine application. Alright, now we're going to run default migrations. What migrations actually are and how to write them we're going to learn during the course. But for now, let's make sure that you use the same PHP version as I do, which is 8.3, in order to avoid any errors related to different PHP versions. So let's switch back to the terminal and run the command to execute migrations. PHP artisan migrate. And what this will do is it will execute migrations that come with default Laravel installation. And if we'll refresh the database now, on macOS we can do so by pressing Command R. We will see several new tables in here. And this is actually the result of migrations. And by this moment we have already installed all necessary things to run Laravel applications, as well as made this application available in the browser. And by the way, in order to make this application not to be available in the browser, we can run herd unlink in the project root. So herd link makes project available in the browser by using the domain name the same as folder name with .test suffix. And herd unlink does the opposite. And also we can additionally execute the command to secure the connection to our application. The command is called herd secure, although this is not required. Links to all applications used in this lesson, as well as link to the repository of this project, will be in the video description.